Athens has completely won me over. I've been twice in the last 6 months and I'm already thinking about going again. Here's why Athens should be on your radar for a budget break in 2025. It's got ancient ruins, rooftop dinners, sea views and a surprising sea. It's actually one of Europe's best value city breaks if you plan it right. You don't actually have to be a history buff to fall for Athens. However, if you are, it is paradise. But the real surprise is the vibe in the cafes, the streets, the back streets, the bars. Most of them have good views of the Acropolis, because that's why you built a bar there. There's chilled neighbourhoods and there's cats everywhere. If you love cats, it is the place to go because they love them as well. And yes, it's still properly affordable. You don't need a big budget to get a big experience here. I'm going to run you through why I think it's the best value city in Europe at the moment, and if you stay till the end, I'll tell you how much I've paid in the past. I've got to say, location is everything. Then your wants and desires. Like, for example, when I went with Book, all we wanted was relatively close to a tube station, close to get to places, clean, tidy, near to takeaways. And we got it. It was in Ammonia, and I'll be honest, it's a slightly sketchy area. We had to walk through a red light district to get to our hotel. We didn't have to walk through it again. But to be honest, we didn't feel unsafe even there. Now, when I went back with Mum, the list of must-haves was slightly different. Mum wanted a balcony, so she could have a sneaky fag. I wanted to be close to a railway station. So the overall proximity to the city centre wasn't as important as being close to a transport link. And we chose the Hotel Socrates. Both were absolutely fantastic, although they were budget hotels. I've done a review on the Socrates. I've just literally, before I started recording this, I had a quick look in Expedia. And we found for this coming weekend, so we're getting into the better weather, we're start of April, I found one hotel for 3 nights over the weekend for 75, that's the Hotel Alma, another one for 81, that's less than £30 a night for 2 people. And they both look fairly decent. There was another one there, the Sparta at 93, so it's just over 30. The ones I've stayed in before were actually sold out this weekend. That's a shame. But you know, you've got a triple room with a bathroom. The receptions look nice. One of them has a balcony. You know, what else do you need? And they're within, one of them was 17 minutes walk from the actual Acropolis. I don't know what it is about Athens. It seems to have more reasonably priced, clean, tidy but basic hotels than any other city I've seen. Obviously you can push the boat out and go for something a bit nicer, but you really don't need to. Especially if you're only going for a weekend, you're just looking for somewhere to sleep. So let's have a look at what you can do on a budget. Well, it's full of brilliant things to do that don't cost a fortune. You can start with the changing of the guard. That is well worth seeing, and you're not going to have to wait long to catch it. It happens every hour. And it's in a central point in Syntagma Square, so it's got great connections to carry on your adventures from there onwards. In fact, it's fairly close to walking distance from Plaka, so if you're active, you don't even need to jump on a tube. Now, talking of Plaka, it's a great place to walk through. It's got the gift shops, it's got some gorgeous bars and restaurants on the steps, great view of the Acropolis and the Parthenon, and we found a restaurant there that I went to on both trips where you get a good meal for less than €20 a head, and that's sitting on the rooftop with a brilliant nighttime view. That might get a little bit steeper closer to the main season, but December, lovely and warm, March, lovely and warm, nice and quiet, decent food. And to be honest, I've had some great meals there that have cost less than a pub lunch in the UK. Probably the most useful thing you'll do if you're on a budget is to get the Metro Pass. It seems a bit pricey for 3 days at €20, and some people say you might be cheaper to tap in, tap out. But don't forget, that covers your return to and from the airport, so that's well worth having. You factor that in for most cities, that can be €20 on its own. So well worth having that, and it gives you the scope to get out to as far as the coast. You could go down to Cape Sunion, where Poseidon's temple is. We did that on one of the trips with a bus, and we found it easier. So I would say my main budget tips are, don't overthink the hotel. They all seem to be of a certain standard. Just make sure it's clean, safe and near a metro. Rooftop cafes aren't always as expensive as you think. They've all got a menu outside. Pin them down, ask them how much it's going to cost me. Public transport is cheap, efficient and reliable. And to be honest, walk where you can. You'll always see something that I haven't seen in my 2 trips. If you feel you've done most of the things on the first day, get yourself on Viator. We did it on both trips. On the first trip, we took a coach trip to Poseidon, which was fully guided. A couple of stops on the way to look at other things. Saw the Temple of Poseidon, killed half a day, €17. When I went with Mum, we did the monster 15-hour coach trip to Meteora to go to the monasteries. Yes, it cost €75. However, it was a full day's entertainment with lunch thrown in and absolutely once-in-a-lifetime views. So even the trips on Viator are reasonably priced. And that's my tip for any place you're going to on holiday. If you look at Viator and see what they're charging for a trip, it will tell you if it's an expensive city or not. So let's wrap this up. It isn't just worth a visit, it's worth going to. It really is. It's worth doing at least a weekend, longer if you can. Perfect mix of culture, food, sunshine and affordability. As I say, I'm trying to see the world and I end up going back there a second time, very, very close to when I last went. And that gives you an idea of how much I've fallen for it. So you can have the action, you can also just chill. So get it on your list. Have you been? Do you want to go? Got any questions? I'm practically an expert now, I've been twice. Oh, I forgot. Both trips, the December trip for 3 nights flying out of Luton cost me £92. When I went with Mum, it was £96. The trip with Buck did involve getting there quite late at night and we had a late leaving flight. I find on your last day you're better off to just get up tidy and go. When I went with Mum, we got there in the late morning. Mum's trip was a little bit trickier because rather than booking it as a package with Expedia, I went for EasyJet on the way out, Wizz Air on the way back. It just worked out more convenient for our timetable. That one came in at £96. Obviously, if you're going to fly out of Manchester, Liverpool, Birmingham, you are going to pay more. I think it's worth the extra time to drive down to Luton, but you don't have to. Bear in mind, we live in Anglesey. It was a bit of a trek, but then again, so is Manchester, Liverpool and Birmingham. So thanks ever so much for watching. Got any questions, let me know, and we'll see you next week.